Hey Internet, today we're going to tackle the flat earth. Let's get into it.
So we've got here the North Pole, which is there on a ball. Then we've got us in Great Britain, which is here on a ball. Then we've got Florida on the ball further down. South America here, top of South America, and then the equator. They're all rotational planes around the ball. So as we move, using the centre North Pole pivot around that as a pivot, we all move at different speeds in space if we live on a ball. And we should see the sky move at different speeds, dependent on where you are on this spinning ball.
We do, and that proves we live on a ball.
And if the stars, look, a single star moves at the same speed from Earth, then stars are moving. If they're moving faster for other people on the ball, the Earth is moving. But they don't see that. The stars
We do see that.
all move at the same. One star moves at the same speed for everybody.
Oh no.
That's the point. So we rotate. That end's moving slowly. This end's going like a jet on a ball, spinning round. Doesn't work. We don't see that. We're not on a ball. The stars are spinning round us, and we're not moving.
We actually would see that even if we were on a flat plane. We would see the outside moves faster than the inside because they're both covering, well, they're covering different distances in the same amount of time. The outside is covering a larger distance in the same amount of time as the inside is covering a smaller distance. And that's what we see in the stars. See how the longer streaks are outside? Because they're traveling a greater distance in a shorter amount of time, or at least being displaced a different distance, because it is actually the Earth that is spinning in this case.
This experiment proves the concept. Use your garden gate, stick a couple of mobile phones on it, and move it yourself, and work.
So we would actually see this if the Earth was flat or not. On their model, the people on the edge of the Earth would see stars moving faster.
Work it out for yourself. Look at the globe they give you, and then do the experiment yourself, and you'll see. Spin that gate, and you'll see. It's not hard. Get it like a jet. How's it moving? 0.006 mile an hour. That's what's going.
Yeah, he's showing here precisely what I was just illustrating. They seem like they're moving at different speeds because they're covering a different distance in the same amount of time. I'm not sure exactly what he thinks he's proving here, but it's rather silly, because he's actually going to prove the ball Earth.
This end is going like a jet. That's the North Pole, and that's the equator. Moving through space at 1,000 mile an hour.
And that's what we see.
The North Pole spinning round at 10 mile an hour. I think it's 4.
That's why the North Star doesn't move, because it's positioned right above the North Pole, which does not change its perspective very much, according to, in relation to what's above it.
Over 6 mile an hour until the North Pole moves. So you can see where I'm coming from. This rotates very little.
So at the center here, these stars barely move. These stars move a lot. So these stars could be seen from over here to find out where the north is, where the center of that is, because the north is directly below it.
This, the field of view moves through space at an immense time. So remember, if you're looking at your field of view, you're not looking at it from space. You're looking at it stood on a ball, looking out at the sky and stars. Awesome. If we're on a ball, we should see the stars moving at different speeds on where we're positioned along the ball.
And we do. The outer stars are moving much faster than the inner stars, and we can prove it because in one rotation, pretend they go 360 degrees, the outside of a ball has a larger circumference than the inside. These travel longer than these. You see, this streak has been going for just as long as this tiny streak here, because they're covering different distances in the same amount of time in one rotation. If you've ever studied any type of physics or like math about circles, like trigonometry, you would know this.
Or the physics of a ball spinning tell you that. Right, so basically, if we're on a ball spinning, you should see the stars move at different speeds across what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Because here, on the equator, you're moving at 1,000 miles an hour. Stood at the North Pole, you're doing 0.006 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So if you look up, the stars should all move at different speeds, depending on where. Because it's basically a spinning disc.
Yeah.
Because if you pretend this is the North Pole looking down on the Earth, a globe Earth, you know, America somewhere around here, South America is on the equator. Yes, we are spinning at different speeds. People up here near the North Pole are almost not spinning at all. People down here are spinning a lot faster. But again, imagine turning a ball in your hand one turn per day. That's how fast the Earth is spinning.
Like a roundabout. Sit in the middle of a
that's the
roundabout.
line.
Yeah. So you sat in the middle of a roundabout looking up with the kids' roundabouts. It all moves very slowly, doesn't it? If you sit on the edge, it all goes like a jet. So that's what we should see if we're on a ball. It's just a big roundabout moving around. And we don't see that. You see the stars, a star moving at the same speed. Everyone sees the same star. They'll see it all moving at the same speed. It proves you're not on a ball spinning around.
So how would I?
We've worked out it's flat. I know it sounds mad. The stars are going around us.
Right.
Right, and that's probably, there's loads of different theories. It's been going on for about 3 years. I think there's 20 million YouTube videos on YouTube now over the last 2.
So he's trying to claim that depending on where you are on this circle, you will see the stars moving at different speeds on a ball. No, you would see the different stars moving at different speeds. Because no matter where you are on this ball, they all will complete one circle in one day. And however fast that appears just has to do with how close the star is to the center, not how close the observer is to the center.
3 years, people thought 3 years ago it was probably about 6. But people have cottoned onto this, looked into it for themselves, and worked out what we've been told is a load of bollocks.
So you went into it assuming it was BS, you have no expertise, no training, you don't even understand basic math or basic physics, and so you think you're qualified to look into this for yourself. You don't even know what questions to ask. You've already confused yourself on this one example.
All that, you know, did you see the ISS guys in space?
Yeah.
You go, oh right, that's real, but when you go look at it, it all glitches out and things don't look right. And it's a green screen. It's done really badly.
It glitches out. Sort of like when Jeranism filmed it not glitching out.
So if you look at on YouTube and type hair.
Poor lady. She just trusts this guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's very confused.
Space. It's like Marge Simpson moving about like that. Look, I'm in space. And it's just hairsprayed. And it's done really badly. But unless you're tuned in to look at it, you don't pick it up. So bubbles in space, the film in a tank, air in space. Sometimes
bubbles don't change directions. I just watched this video earlier. It's they're claiming that it was filmed in a pool, and there are bubbles floating around, but the bubbles will actually change directions, and they all float in different directions. So that's already falsified.
See, hang them upside down.
He sees what he wants to see, and he can't accept any other explanation.
And filmed that way, so they're moving like that. I think it's like they're not in gravity. So they're moving about slowly, and the wires are on a spring. And it's so obvious. Now I've told you, and you look, you'll go, wow. And there's thousands and millions of people putting stuff up on YouTube, screaming their heads out. We go on the streets. Harry goes on the streets and tries to get people to look at it, and we get overwhelmed with people wanting to look at it because everybody knows about it, or most people know about it. Just need to look.
Give us your card then, and then I can go and look.
Harry will give you his card, but follow that. Look what Harry's put on, but mostly Harry deals with talking to people like you.
Can I ask you, what's your number one proof that you think you live on a spinning boat?
Well, you don't really think about it, do you? Just take it for granted.
Well, around 5 years old, we all...
And that's what flat earthers take advantage of. People who take things for granted. And that's why science educators are necessary. That's why we need to go back to basics and inform people really how we've gotten to these basic assumptions that we work with. Well, they're not assumptions. They're assumptions to most people because they don't know how we got here.
You don't even think about questioning it.
No. But now, as adults with critical thinking, we're questioning it, we're asking for proof. And you know all those images they show you of the Earth from space? They're not photographs. They're Photoshop. And NASA admitted that himself.
Well, go on then, give me a card and I'll look on YouTube.
I have to go to my car.
They're not Photoshop. That is a lie. Straight up pure lie. And this pisses me off because you know what you're doing. Some images of the Earth are composites. Which, do you know what a composite is? They are real photographs, they just put them together. Some photos of the Earth are not composites whatsoever. No enhancement. Period. You're a liar.
Right.
Get it back to you. But yeah, we'll give you a
It's
card.
a John Smith Global Eye. If you put that on, it'll come up, we'll get a count to you. Yeah.
Oh my word.
So that's
Well, I never thought it was going to be something like that.
so where I've come up with this proof, basics proof.
It doesn't prove anything, and you don't even know what you're talking about. You think that people on different parts of the globe see stars moving at different speeds. It depends on the star's position, not the observer.
Right, it's that simple that no one seems to have picked up on it, or they picked up bits. There's plenty of people picked up on it, but they've not sort of how to explain it. And I've worked it out how to explain it in the simplest form. And once people get their head around and see this, they'll realise balls basically. We're not on it, and the stars are spinning around us. And if you go looking, it's a lot to take.
So how come these stars out here know to spin faster than these stars? How are they on the same track? Are they all fixed to one rotating disk in the sky? Why do they all have the same period of one day? Why does the sun have this pattern? How come every single star has this pattern? And how come the moon does not have this pattern? You're really going to need to explain this. You can't, though, can you?
Yeah.
And just take it in one bit at a time.
A bit mashed already.
Use a 10, it shows a ball spinning round
Yeah, because
straight away.
just, like I said, take it for granted.
Yeah. So it's not millions of people hiding this. It's a very small group of people that are actually in control of the media, the top guys. And there are people that have put this out. And if you start looking now, you'll go looking back in history to Christopher Columbus. He was told he'll fall off the edge. And when he discovered all these places, Africa whatsoever, then he came back and he said, "Oh, it's the ball. Right, it's a ball now. It's not flat and you fall off, it's a ball." And I think personally that is to hide more land further away. So we don't believe that it's a disc floating in space. We believe.
Then you should be able to go there, and not one of you has. Just go explore something. How come people back then were able to explore in these rickety frickin' ships, but you can't? With all of our modern technology, if there's so many flat earth videos online, if there's so much support in your community, go buy a boat and go over there. You won't, 'cause it's BS. You know, what's also interesting is he just proved the ball for us, because as we can see, if you're on the outside of a spinning any spinning body, you're going to observe this effect where the outer stars are taking a longer distance. What's interesting is that this is the direction that they spin at the North Pole. And this is the direction that they spin in the south, the southern hemisphere. How are they spinning in different directions if the Earth is flat? It's impossible if the Earth is flat. This is only possible on a globe. So, I mean, you can observe this simply by being in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Anyone can do this. Simple proof. Let's see, what else here? He talked a lot about how the strings are obvious, so obvious. And if these people were on strings, they wouldn't be able to do flips like this. They wouldn't be able to do this either. Look, there's a pole going right around it. It's literally impossible for this person to be suspended by strings, because he just, what? There he goes. He ran right past a pole. So, there, here we go again. Look at this. Can't fake that. And he's complaining about about their hair. Oh, it's hairsprayed. It just looks really bad. That I dare you to try to do this with someone's hair, dude. You can't. You could maybe make it stick up like that right there a little bit, but you can't replicate this effect back here. Yeah, hairspray can't do that. Sorry, man. So, just remember the simple proof. This disproves the flat Earth completely and proves the globe Earth. This is the simplest thing I can think of. So, we'll be talking about gravity very soon. I've got Mr. Owen Benjamin lined up next. Alright, tune in for that very soon.